The pilot inside the cockpit. This was supposed to be another high-risk but routine mission, protecting international shipping lanes in one of the most volatile regions on Earth. But at 03:17 a.m., something changed. A sudden alert flashed across the jet's systems. Not mechanical, not weather-related, a potential threat. And within seconds, the meaning became clear. 03:18 a.m., a radar warning no pilot wants to see. At 03:18 a.m., the fighter jet's sensors purportedly detected what U.S. officials later described as hostile tracking activity. In simple terms, someone on the ground may have been trying to lock on to the aircraft. According to regional reports and later statements, Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen were suspected of attempting to target the U.S. jet using air defense systems or guided weapons. No missile impact, no explosion in the sky, but the danger was real enough to trigger immediate defensive protocols. Because in modern warfare, you don't need to be hit to be under attack. Who are the Houthis, and why this matters? To understand why this moment mattered, you need to understand who the Houthis are. The Houthis are an armed group based in Yemen, backed politically and militarily by Iran, according to the United States and its allies. Over the past year, they have dramatically expanded their operations, launching drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles at commercial cargo ships, oil tankers, Israeli-linked targets, and increasingly U.S. and allied military assets. What began as attacks on shipping has slowly escalated into something far more dangerous, a direct challenge to American air power. 03:19 a.m. Inside the cockpit. At 03:19 a.m., the U.S. fighter jet remained airborne and operational. Inside the cockpit, the pilot was now fully alert. Training takes over in moments like this. There is no panic, no hesitation. Every movement pre-rehearsed. The aircraft reportedly adjusted altitude and course, deploying electronic countermeasures designed to confuse or defeat any potential targeting systems. In modern air combat, the battle often happens before a missile is even fired, and this was one of those moments. What the Houthis claimed. Hours later, Houthi-linked media outlets would claim they had attempted to engage a U.S. military aircraft operating over the Red Sea. The claim spread rapidly across regional news networks and social media platforms. But here's the critical point. The U.S. fighter jet was not hit. No damage was reported. The mission continued. Still, the claim itself sent shockwaves through military and diplomatic circles, because attempting to target a U.S. fighter jet is not symbolic, it's a direct escalation. Why targeting a fighter jet is a red line. Attacking or attempting to attack a fighter jet is vastly different from firing at ships. A fighter jet represents national military power, immediate retaliation capability, and strategic dominance in the air. In military doctrine, targeting aircraft, especially U.S. aircraft, can justify rapid and overwhelming response, and everyone knows this, which raises a chilling question. Were the Houthis testing U.S. limits? 03:24 a.m., the jet escapes the threat zone. By 03:24 a.m., the U.S. aircraft had moved beyond the suspected threat envelope. No missile trail followed. No explosion lit up the sky. The jet remained fully mission-capable, but the message had already been sent. Someone on the ground had dared to challenge American air superiority. Pentagon response, carefully worded, deeply serious. Later, U.S. defense officials acknowledged increased hostile activity in the region, but stopped short of confirming every detail of the Houthi claims. This is typical. Military responses are measured, not because the threat isn't real, but because words themselves can escalate conflicts. However, U.S. officials emphasized one thing clearly. Any attempt to target U.S. forces will be met with appropriate response. In military language, appropriate can mean a lot of things. The bigger picture, a region on edge. This incident did not happen in isolation. It comes amid ongoing U.S.-led operations to protect Red Sea shipping, repeated Houthi missile and drone launches, escalating tensions involving Iran, Israel, and Gulf states. The Red Sea has become one of the most dangerous military flashpoints in the world, and now the sky above it is no longer safe either. Why this moment could change everything. Even an attempted engagement changes calculations. It forces the U.S. military to consider expanded air patrols, preemptive strikes on air defense sites, or more aggressive rules of engagement. It also sends a signal to other actors watching closely. If the Houthis can challenge a U.S. fighter jet, even unsuccessfully, what comes next? What happens if a jet is actually hit? Military analysts warn that a successful strike on a U.S. aircraft would mark a historic escalation. The response would likely be immediate retaliatory airstrikes, destruction of launch and radar sites, and possible expansion of operations inside Yemen. No one officially wants this, but deterrence depends on credibility. 03:31 a.m. Silence returns, but tension remains. By 03:31 a.m., the skies over the Red Sea appeared calm once again. But this was not peace. It was armed silence, the kind that follows a warning shot. Why this story matters to you. This wasn't just another headline. It was a moment where a single radar signal, a single decision, a single claim could have pulled multiple nations into a wider conflict. Thanks for watching.